Alright, so we're back, and today we're going to take a look at the Gore-gruntas. So, first we'll take a look at the War Scroll like we've been doing. Just so you guys can see what we've got working on. So you got a move of 9, save of 4, bravery of 6, wounds of 5. So, and compared to the regular brutes, you can see, obviously they're going to be tougher, 2 wounds more. And they're going to be a lot faster. So that's nice, you have that cavalry unit. So, what these guys are armed with, you got your pig iron choppas, your jagged Gore-gruntas, and your Tuscan hooves. No boss profile here. There's a champion tag here, but no boss profile. So your choppas, 4 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, rend of 1 damage. Which is pretty much on par with what we got with the brutes. And then your jagged Gore-gruntas, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they only got 1 a hand for weapons, but whatever. Jagged Gore-gruntas, you got the 2-inch range. The way that they sit on those bases, though, you ain't getting 2 inches out of that choppa unless you go sideways or something, or you're behind another unit of like brutes or ardboys. But they're not going to get that 2-inch range if you have like a unit of 6 of them. But you got the 3 to hit, or 3 attacks, 3 up, rend of 1 instead of rend of 2. Okay, that's a little weaker. And damage of 1 apiece. And then rather than have anything else, we got the Tuscan hooves, which is a 4 attacks, 3 hit, 3 wounds, no rend with a damage of 1. So depending on how you do it, each model has at least 8 attacks, which is pretty nice. So you champion, one model in this unit can be a Gore-grunta boss, add 1 to the attack characteristics of the model's melee weapons, excluding those of its mount. So basically, either your choppas get 1 more attack, right? Yeah. Or your Haka gets 1 more attack. That's your choice. Gore-grunta charge. After the model in this unit finishes a charge move, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of that model. Add 1 to the roll if the model is armed with jagged Gore-gruntas, so the spears. On a 3+, that enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. So it's a good, just charge them and smash things. If this unit has more than 1 model, roll to determine if mortal wounds are caused after each model finishes its charge move. So if you have a big unit of them, then you smash pretty hard. Do not allocate the mortal wounds until after all of the models in this unit have finished their charge move. So that way you're not removing models before you get there. Now the problem with the way unit cohesiveness works, because the way the bases are these oval bases. So like I was saying, if you've got your jagged Gore Haka with the unit behind, like say you're charging into him here. So when you charge, this guy's going to, get that charge attack, but this one behind won't, because because it has to roll dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch. So that's 1 inch. Not getting close to the other one. And then the jagged Gore-grunta is a 2-inch range. So again, unlike brutes. So let's see here. Where did it go? Here's 40 millimeter bases. So if you've got this guy up front attacking, and then you have one that's in a unit behind him, there you have, it's less than 2 inches to him. So it's if you have 2-inch range with brutes, it makes sense. When you have 2-inch range with the pigs, doesn't make so much sense. Now, on the opposite side of that, though, is if you have a unit of brutes here attacking him and the Gore-gruntas move behind him, then you're hitting them. But then you're going into that whole, like, can you pile in if they're not going to go in base contact, blah, 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 blah. So, it's one of those, it's like, I don't know if I would do massive units of the Gore-gruntas, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of benefit there. Brutes, kind of the same way. I didn't talk about this too much, but especially with the U-Messin rule, and the Gore-gruntas don't have that either. Well, when you're talking about the U-Messin rule, it's like it's almost a benefit to have multiple units of 5 brutes, because regardless of how big that unit of zombies is, those 5 brutes hold that objective. So if you're playing to win the game, that's the best way to do it. So let's take a look at the frames. We've already looked at them briefly, but we'll look at them again. So you got the Gore-gruntas here. You got the right side of the body, left side of the body, left side of the head. The other side's on a different frame. Or no, it's right here. And then you also get like left and right side feet. So you have to find the right feet to glue in, which gets a little obnoxious, to be honest. Legs have to glue on. You got the butt plates to glue on. Some of them have like a mouth that has to plug inside this. You got these head plates here for the boss. So if you do have a boss, you can kind of make him look a little bit different. I believe this is your boss Gore Haka, and then this would be your boss Choppa. So you got some options going on here, but nothing too extravagant. It's like with the brute kit, it's like night and day. Not much to see on this side, just because it's just the underbelly of the pigs. So that's the first frame. And then the second frame here, we've got, the back pieces for the orcs, the shoulder pieces for the Gore-gruntas. Those are the top of the back plates for the bosses, or that I'm going to use for bosses, but all the Gore-gruntas are supposed to have them. You got a Choppa and Haka. Essentially, each one has one of 2 options weapon-wise, and then one also has the boss option. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different weapon options for the whole kit. Whereas the brutes, there's a ton, and there's a ton of different ways to build them. And then your left arm, that has to hold on to the belt. You could build one. There's a way to do it. But you can build them with the left-hand weapon so that they're both, they're having 2 weapons. And it's kind of cool looking, but they're also kind of goofy looking. And then again, not too much to see on this side of the frame, just because it's mostly the underbellies. So. And then the last one. So there's your back plates, your orc heads. Got quite a few of those, which is nice. The shoulder pads. More weapons, like I said. And then this side, again, not too much to go into, although you do get to see some of those heads. So, but like I said in the brute kit, you can change out the back plates. They're interchangeable from each kit. So that's pretty cool. The right arms, a lot of them are going to be interchangeable. So you can build them a few different ways, but you have to be careful. As I said in the brute kit, or highly recommend checking, dry fitting this before you glue it on. Because you're going to or try to glue it on, because you're going to come across some that won't fit. These guys have more head options than the brutes. Like the brutes have quite a few heads, but let's see. They have 1, 2, 3, on here. So it's 3 heads here. 4, 5, 6, and 7 if you count that. 8. So you got 8 head options. So the brutes have more heads, but they have more people. So you got 8 heads with 5 guys, whereas these ones you've got 6 heads. I don't think there's any more, right? Yeah, you got 6 heads with 3 guys. So either way, you have 3 leftover heads at the end of the day for each kit. But it's just, there's a lot of more options, it seems like, with the brutes when it comes to the weapons. But you interchange the heads and some of the weapons, and now you have even more options. And that's one of the really cool things about this kit, as well as this. Now, price-wise, these guys are $80 a set. And it is way overpriced. I would say 60 would be acceptable. Make it the same cost as the brutes. I think 50 is where the brutes shined, was when they were at a $50 price point. Obviously things have to go up with inflation and all that stuff. But I think $80, and it used to be like $78 anyway, like from the start. And the start collecting used to be $85 when it first came out. And the start collecting comes with 10 Ardboys, 3 Gore-gruntas, and a Warchanta. Now, if you're sitting here like, oh, do I spend $78 on 3 Gore-gruntas, or do I spend the extra $7 to get the Warchanter and the 10 brutes? Or to the 10 Ardboys, it's really a no-brainer on which one you'd buy. Now these guys are $80, so it's a couple bucks more. And the start collecting went up to $110. So it's at that point where it's like it's not as easy of a no-brainer because it's still $30 more. And it's like you're spending $30 more for a bunch of models that you may or may not want. But if you're getting a if you're wanting to get the Warchanter and you're wanting to get Gore-gruntas, then definitely pick up that kit. It's very much well worth it. These things used to be pretty cheap on eBay too. Like you almost find them at $40 a piece. I don't know if Games Workshop put the end to that or not, because now I can't seem to find them for cheaper anymore. And maybe it's because they made them direct exclusives recently, but I don't know. I think this is one of my more least favorite kits, especially of the Iron Jaws. It seems like it would be really great to have giant boar boys, essentially, but the boars themselves don't have a lot of options. You really don't have much options at all with the boars outside of which shoulder plates you put on there and if you put glyphs on them or not. So the boars themselves look pretty similar. The riders you get a little bit more flexibility with, but not as much as you'd like compared to the brutes. So if you've done the brutes and then you go to this and you're like, wow, okay, that's it, that's all I get. Okay. It's still a good kit. The rules are fine. There's nothing like I don't like the rules for them. They're not as mundane as the Ardboys, for example, but they're just not as much fun as the brutes, I'd say. And yeah, I mean, there's not. And if you've ever built these before, or if you have a friend that has, just ask them how much fun the ears are, because those things are a freaking nightmare to get in there. they suck. The ears just suck. They're just too big for the hole once you get things together, and you can't really assemble them ahead of time. Like, you just got to get the head together and then shove that in there the best you can. It's kind of a bitch. I won't lie. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. But it is what it is. In the end, it's a fun. It's not a fun kit, but it's a decent kit. You get a decent amount of variety. It's a good addition to your Iron Jaws. I would, like I've said before, though, I would recommend staying clear of big units of them. Whereas Brutes, you can make the argument that, oh yeah, my unit of 10 Brutes is worthwhile because most of them, or they all have the Jagged Gore-gruntas. So now you get 10 attacks in that attack profile when they go in. Gore-gruntas, like the ones in the back, they're just going to be standing there. They ain't doing nothing. But if you get smaller units and you charge them out, that's where I think they really would excel, is just smaller units that hit hard, at a distance. Because at the move of 9, they're over twice as fast as the regular Brutes. Point wise, they cost, let's see here, 170 apiece, so they're 10 points more than Brutes. And yeah, it's like I said, it's like they're fun. They're fun units to play. The rules, like I said, are fine, but the model is what we're spending all the money on, and the model needs to just excel. That was one of those problems with the Ardboys. It's just they just don't excel like some of the other kits. Like I said, the Brutes by far are my favorite kit in the Iron Jaws unit anyway. The Mega Boss on Maw Crusher is also a pretty fun kit too, to be perfectly honest. And we'll get to him too. I've got one sitting there waiting to be looked at. But yeah, I think they're a necessary component to your army, unlike the Ardboys, which, they fill a battle line role. But at the same time, it's like, so do the Brutes. So it's like, if you got Brutes, you don't need Ardboys. And the Brutes are just better models. So yeah, that's all I got there. So I guess, next time we'll take a look at probably the regular Mega Boss. And then when we look at the Shaman, we'll probably do the Shaman and the War Chanter at once, just to kind of knock two birds with one stone, because there's not much to go over with that. The Mega Boss, there's a few options I want to talk about, and then the Maw Crusher, of course. And then, of course, after I pause this, I'm going to get these guys built, so we can kind of look at more detailed models. And then, here in a second, once I pause this video and it starts back up for you guys, you'll see what the built Gore-gruntas look like. I'm going to try and build, 2 units just with what's available, with a little bit of change with the back plates. And then two I'm going to try, or at least one unit, I'm going to try and give them brute weapons and stuff like that, and vice versa. I'm going to try and get some brute or Gore-grunta weapons to the Brutes, and that way you guys can see that flexibility there. So yeah, I guess that's all I got. Okay, so now the Gore-gruntas are put together. Let's take a peek at them. Now these guys are a little bit more challenging to make them look more unique. So I highly recommend dry fitting the pieces before you get too crazy. But for the most part, you're gonna be able to work with it. So with mixing the heads, you should actually have enough heads so that every single one. So I've got four. I got 4 sets of 3. So I've got 12 different Gore-gruntas, and every one of them has a different head. So you should be able to do that with these guys. So take a look at our pig boys. So the thing is that you have 3 different options for the Gore-gruntas, and there's not a lot more you can do with them. You can flip the shoulder pads here, and you can flip this around a little bit. But past that, there's not a lot of options. And then the orc itself, basically you get to pick the back plate, the shoulder pads, and the arm and the head. But for the rest of it, it's all just one piece, essentially. I mean, there's many pieces, but it's just like there's not a lot of build options with it. So I would not build too many of them. So we got the hacker here. I shaved off the top knot here, as you can see, just so that it could just look more just a standard orc. Either that or I switched it with a brute one. I can't remember now. But yeah, so there's him. Looks good. And then next one with a spear. So I think this is a brute spear here. Like I said, dry fit. Don't just glue it on. You want to dry fit it and make sure that it's working right for you before you commit. I believe that's a brute one too. I believe, it's hard to say at this point. I believe I shaved that one off. And last one. So those are the ones with the Jagu Gore-gruntas. All those look pretty good. We'll look at all the bosses at once when we're done here. And then just with the choppas, here's what we got. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it doesn't look they don't have as much, unit of 3 of them have a lot of character. A lot of them stop having so much character because it all looks, the boars start getting just repetitive, and so sort of the bulk of the orc. Yeah, there's just not much. There's not much to say. It's just kind of. Yeah, they're, like I said, in smaller units they're good, but I have an or to build, and the paint I would admit are going to be pretty repetitive. I'm looking forward to it still though. Because last time I painted these guys, I was with standard colors. I think contrast is going to be amazing with these guys. I'm looking forward to it. Laying in a thick coat of the Gore-grunta fur on there is going to be great. Alright, now the bosses. So, you have the boss chop. Well, so with these guys, they just have bosses. They don't have like different types of weapons or anything like that. So it's nothing too spectacular. Rule wise, but for model wise, I did the top knot for all the bosses, and all of them got the faceplate on the boar to make them look a little bit meaner. So he's got the Boss Choppa, which I gave to. Also, one of the brutes had that too. That I gave to make him look like a boss too. So that one's pretty good. I like that one. And then this one, so he's got a regular Choppa here, and he's got the Boss Choppa from the Brute kit here. Also top knot and the armor plate. Armor plate, like, if you're careful, it will fit on all boars. You just have to just make sure you do it right. Again, dry fit. This kit, you have to dry fit almost everything, just to make sure you're getting it right. Here's that like Boss Gore-gruntas here. So that's definitely a brute head because it's got the half mask kind of deal. And yes, the ears are still a bitch. I didn't have too much trouble with them, but still not fun. And then I gave him a Smasha. Again, top knot and just a smaller brute Gore-gruntas in this hand. But definitely gives him a little bit more flair to have that Smasha there. You know? But yeah. That's it for the Gore-gruntas. You know, in smaller units, they're more fun to work with, you know, and assemble and build and stuff like that. Once you get into these bigger units like I have, because I've got 12 of them, they start feeling a little repetitive, and it just kind of sucks the fun out of it a little bit. But still recommend them. You know, they're going to be a pretty critical part of my army. Because everything else has a move of 4 for the most part, so gotta get some guys that can get up there. I do recommend them. They're, I think, $80 a set of 3. I mean, we've talked about the price before, so if you're gonna get some, I definitely would recommend looking into the box sets, the start collecting. You know, if you can get them through there, or sometimes you get them on eBay for cheap from people that had to start collecting and are just parting them out. So there's options on buying them. $80 is a little steep, you know. That's getting close to like the Archeon's Knights, the Vanguard, and these guys are not nearly as cool as Vanguard. So it's kind of like, you know, there's not the same kind of value there, which is a bummer because they definitely are a weaker cavalry for the most part. And it makes you kind of like, I don't know if I really want to build them. And, you know, weaker with a high expense on the actual models. Point wise, I think 3 are about the same as a unit of 5 brutes, but it's a hard call there. So yeah, that's all I got for them.